live. While we wait on people to get in here, I'll put my phone in the holder. There we are. Okay. What? I don't. Because I'm pressing both volume buttons for... oh, crap. I don't want to do that. Turn off shortcut. Okay. Hey, guys. Sorry, I hit a button on my phone. We won't keep this one too long. And basically what happened is I jumped on our Patreon page. Before I get started, I do have to do one thing. Since we're doing a few live videos here, you didn't get your music, so... dun, 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 dun. Olympus Reptiles, brought to you by TGR Racks. Go check out those TGR Racks, okay? They're all over the place. People are buying them. We love them, especially these new ones. All right. Covered my sponsor thing, right? And I covered our intro, so now we're good. But basically, I was hanging out on my Patreon today talking to those guys, which I'm trying to do a lot of. And just like here, where comments roll so fast, there's not as many people there, so I get to most of them. I get to almost all of them, but I still miss a few. And I did miss one whenever I was going back and forth between a few things, and that was talking about percentage of hets. And what was really cool is a lot of people on my Patreon started answering it on a post afterwards, but I thought, man, that is a really good thing, you know, and that's a good topic because I think there's a lot of confusion, especially with newer people on hets and all these het percentages. So, been waiting. I know, dude, that's one thing. It will be worth it, but they do take a while. They do. So, there's that. And also, our last video, we posted a new video today showing how we fake the rattlesnake bite. And YouTube is not wanting to monetize that at the moment. Maybe it'll come through, but it's slowing it down. They also bumped me on a gator video, although I can't be too mad about that one. It kind of was a straight-up feed video. That's on me. So anyway, don't be bitter. We're just having some fun. And we're not going to do April Fool's Day pranks every year. That's not something that we're going to do. The reason we did it this year is our normal video day was April 1st. So we kind of had to do it. YouTube is a complete joke sometimes, but they also have been very good to me in some ways. Just, they're mad. I don't know. I think I pissed somebody off, and I think one of you guys was right. I think it probably has to do with my emblem, but I don't care. It's an American history thing and nothing else. So, all right, got me a drink. But let's talk about some of these hets, and that is going to be what makes a 50% het, what makes a 66% het, and what makes a 100% het, and what do those terms actually mean? So, the way we're going to do that is, let me grab my handy-dandy camera here. See, Kurt should have never let me buy this selfie thing. We're going to flip you guys around really quick. Boop! And let's start with a recessive snake. This is a pied. Obviously, she was on our cover. Right? That is a full visual recessive. All hets are talking about recessive genes, first of all. Doesn't matter the recessive. When people talk about it's a het this, they usually are talking about recessives. Het actually stands for heterozygous, so they could be talking about anything that could be a het. Now, let's look and say, what makes a 50% het? Well, if you take that, right? You take a pied and an axanthic, any snake that is a recessive, and you breed it to, say, let's go, her cage is kind of a mess because she's just had her prelay shed, and you breed it to, say, this girl here, who is a normal, what you would end up with is 100% hets, right? Every baby would be a het. Here's why. It's like blue eyes in humans, blue eyes being a recessive trait. If your dad has blue eyes and your mom has brown eyes, but doesn't carry a blue-eye gene, then you're going to be heterozygous for blue eyes. It works the same. That snake being pied has to pass a gene on. Those would be 100% hets. Let me show you another snake. If I can find him. Here we go. These will be good examples. Both these in here, who probably just finished up breeding, this is a 100% het for snow. What that means, it's a het albino and it's a het SK axanthic. And check out the girlfriend spider, 100% het for snow as well. So, if I were to breed him to, say, any female that didn't carry a recessive trait, then the babies, because I know he's het for axanthic and het for albino. We'll just focus on the albino right now. So saying that he's het for albino, if I bred him to another female, the babies would be 50% het. What that actually means is an animal, at the end of the day, is either het or it's not. Okay, so when you start thinking about percentages, I want you to remember that it's either going to be heterozygous or it's not heterozygous. There really is no in between. What that 50% means is that each individual offspring has a 50% chance of being heterozygous. Not that it'll be het half the time or something crazy like that. If a baby's het, it's het. Okay? If it's het, it's het. The thing is, when you see something labeled 50% het, you don't know, until you breed that animal out. So that's where that term is coming from. And the 50% is made by taking a known het animal and breeding to a known normal or non-het. Doesn't carry the recessive, okay? So then you get the 33%. Some people like the Punnett Squares, and I don't ever draw those. It's kind of here. It works better for me audio. And if you want to see a Punnett Square video, you have to kind of dig through some archives. But Cusco did a really good one, so that's why I never did it. I'm like, hell, I can't do better than that. Might as well leave it be. But since it's still a question, I thought maybe an actual physical seeing the snakes and explanation works better for some because we all kind of learn in different ways. Now, if you take two hets, so let's say I take this pairing here. And again, we're going to focus on just the albino portion, right? We're not going to worry about anything else. But both those snakes are het albino. Some of the babies will be albino. Whatever baby gets the albino gene here and the albino gene there will be a visual albino, right? Now you're tracking? So that leaves 1 out of 4 out the way. So there's 25% of those snakes. So we know those. We can see those. That leaves 3 more left. Well, out of those 3, this one will pass on the albino gene sometimes, and this one won't. Sometimes this one will pass it on, and this one won't, and sometimes neither. So when you look at that, that's where you're getting the 66%. So 66% are a result of a het to a het pairing, okay? So a het to het pairing will equal 66%. And again, that is the percentage chance of those snakes being actually heterozygous. Not that 66% of the time it will, 66% of the time it won't. And what should you name your orange ghost? I just saw that comment come up, and I also saw one. Comments won't come back. That was saying thank you. There they are. Man, that's awesome. I can inspire people. It surprises me every time I hear that. It really, truly does. As far as what you should name your orange ghost, man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good ghost name. Anything you want. You know what? If you're a Scooby-Doo fan, find your favorite ghost from Scooby-Doo. Name it that, I think. And then you get to my opinion on possible het stuff. Well, I'll cover that really quick, and it can be a fun project to play with, and I make possible het stuff because I think a lot of people make it when they're doing what I'm trying to do, and it's trying to make like a double recessive. So I'm working on snow projects and true ghost projects, and in that I will have some double het or some possible het stuff or possible double het, or I'll have 100% het, possible het this, whenever I'm making some things down the road too. So it can be good. And I think if you're dealing with some really high-end stuff, like let's say I wanted to jump into the sunset game, which I'm not jumping into the sunset game. But let's say I wanted to jump into the sunset game. A really good way to do that would to go to a known source and buy about 3 or 4 possible het females, okay? Because those possible hets are not that expensive when the hets are pretty expensive and the visuals are really expensive. And then turn around in a year, so I grow those up for a year, then the next year spend the cash and buy a visual male, or at least 100% het male, run him through the girls. The reason I like the visual is because then if you have some that end up being not het, the 50% doesn't work out and they're just a normal whatever, you at least are producing hets, so the sunset het will still have some value at that time. And the ones that do prove out to be het, you're going to be making sunset. If the odds are lining up, if you bought 4, 2 probably are, 2 probably aren't, you're going to get about 12 eggs out of the 2 that are. If you use a visual male, you're going to get about 6 sunsets. And bam, that's how it's going. So, touched his nose. Oh, touch the snake. I think I touch my nose. Like, I have an itch sometimes, you know. How do you know if you're getting a het or just a normal? You don't. You don't. Now, there's some ways to avoid, to kind of take care of that. Like with us, and I totally stole this, and I'll say who I stole it from. John Dog, JD Constriction. I bought a snake from him, and it came serial number. I thought, well, hell, that's a great idea because it was a het. So we started serial numbering all of our stuff when we began to breed. That way I can go back and look at my pairings, and I can tell you, yes, it's het. Here's the pairings, here's the pairings, here's this. And I've had about 18 people say Zeus. I will pull him out before we're done, really quick, last thing. And so you can do that, you know, and know you're getting a het. But you really don't know unless you see the parents. Or you're when you buy a het, you're really trying to put in some trust in somebody. Like, you've got to trust who you're buying from. I won't buy a het unless I trust somebody. You know, and just like any market, you know, most of the people who do this are great people. Most people breeding snakes are honest individuals who want to help the hobby, who want to do good, who want to represent themselves the best, want to represent the hobby the best. That's 90% of the people out there, right? And if they sell you a possible het, that's probably what it really is. But I know if you're a little bit shady, what you can do, people will be like, oh yeah, it's a possible het this, and then guess what? If it's not, hey, I told you it was possible, I'm not wrong. So you definitely want to ask for some information or know you're dealing with somebody who's got a good reputation that, you know, like, you know, for me, if I go and I did that and I screwed somebody over, it would damage me way more than it would be worth. Like, I would get beat up more than I would make from doing that. So there's really no point in doing something like that. Hey, Derek, what's up, man? Did you catch me live on the Patreon too? Did you? I can't remember who all I had on there. So that's kind of where that is on how you know. You don't till you breed it. In my case, the ones I showed you that I said are het, I produced. I know they're het because I produced them. I hatched them. They were using mine. My opinion, Disco G, I don't really have one. I don't have it. But I did promise a Zeus showing. You guys like him more than I do, I think. So, not to people on it. You know, and that's true. That's not a bad thing. And I'll give you a good example. You know, and that is going to be, not a lot of people were having the red stripe gene either, right? JKR popped out that magma, did something really cool with the gene, and you're going to see a lot more people having it now. So when people aren't all over it, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just may mean nobody's found what to do with it yet. So this is Zeus. This is our boy. And then I'll probably be hopping off here soon. I didn't want to make too long of a video. I answered that the other day, and I got to be really careful about that magma project. We'll let him just kind of hang out with me while we talk. And on the magma project, it's cool. I mean, it's a cool project. It's, you know, I got asked if I was getting into it the other day, and I said I'm not, which is still true. That doesn't mean I don't think it's a cool project or a worthwhile project. It's just I got so many irons in the fire that, you know, and so many directions I want to go that that's not where my plan lies right now. So that's kind of where that is. Tracks are all over the belly on some hets. Okay, I have seen animals with tracks that look het-pied that aren't. I've also seen animals that don't have the tracks that are. So tracks are not always a guarantee. I mean, they're a good indicator, you know, but you can't look and say tracks are there. It's definitely this. But we'll catch you later, Snake Daddy. He is. If you put orange with Zeus, then it would be the. It might, you know. I'm not trying to make him orange. I'm trying to make him brighter and brighter and brighter. Have I created a morph? Yes, I have. We actually have. I say created a morph. I want to be specific. We've created a combo. And you can actually find us on World of Ball Pythons. We submitted one of them we created last year, and that was the the Champagne Blitz, which we call the shits. We have been credited with the Champagne Blitz on there. We also did the Calico Blitz. I think we're the first ones to do it. We just got to submit all that. So yeah, and then so we did produce those combos first. Producing a combo first, you know, it's cool. It's a feather in your cap, but it's just, you paired the genes like that before anybody else did. It's really not like this, oh my God thing, you know? So, yeah, made the shits. There it is. It is something to be proud of. I'm not trying to take away anybody's accomplishments at all. I'm proud of mine. But it's, you know, it's one of those things that somebody else may have actually done it too and just not ever sent it in or named it, you know? So, yeah. Double hets, but it's a chance you'd want to be able to find one from another breeder. Yeah, albino piesman, you're going to have to do double hets on it, but exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. Somebody mentioned about another gene there, and you kind of hit the nail on the head with the red stripes. And I'm pointing to the comment. I don't know why I'm doing it. You all can't see what they're coming on here, but yes, the Daytona show. I don't know. Maybe it all depends on a lot of things. I'd love to get to Daytona, but the other issue is that we don't have any animals right now for sale. They're just hatching. I'll show you one other thing we're working on. Because this is something that when I posted it, oh, that was shit. People were like, oh, it's got to be this, it's got to be that, it's got to be this. And I'll be honest, I don't know what it is. I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's a pastel. But I hope I get to Daytona too. My brother lives down there. That's this snake here. Somebody asked about creating a morph. This is the closest thing. Visuals do make 100% hets to creating a morph that we may have. As far as this was from a pairing that had no reason to produce a snake like this. I know it's not retained sperm. Everybody's like, could it be retained sperm? No, the mom was a champagne. I'm the only person who's ever bred that champagne. The first year she was to a calico, definitely no calico. The second year she produced the shits, champagne blitz. So there's no blitz in here either. And I had 2 of these pop out. So I don't know what's going on. And the champagne's not pastel either, and it produced no pastels the first time. That dad produced another clutch and produced no pastels. So it's strange. I held back both, but the colors look very pastel-y. The eyes, woohoo, also have, I can get them there to show up, a greenish tint, and you know, that's just it. I mean, the pattern's pretty funky, but some pastels get pretty funky. So we don't know what this is. We're going to play with it. I'll probably put something to pastel with one, see if it throws a super pastel. And if it does, there's my answer. If it doesn't, then I have something completely different. I'm going to bet it'll throw a super pastel. And talking to some people who have been at this a long time, they actually have seen random pastels throw occasionally. It's pretty rare, but there you go. Other than you at the moment, I'm the best one, and I'm sold out. There's a lot of good people. And, yeah, it could be just a new pastel line. Crazy morphs, I mean, I guess it's all, you know, it depends. How many recessive genes in my collection? Oh, shit, I don't know. But we'll go over that, and then I'm probably going to dip out of here. I just wanted to come on while that question was fresh in my brain and address it, since I missed it while I was on Patreon. We are working with SK Xanthic, we're working with Pied, we're working with Albino, we're working with Candino, which is a Candy Albino combination. I'll get into all the allelic stuff sometime. We're working with Clown, we're working with, I think that's it for true recessives. Maybe missing one or two. Yeah. Oh, with Ghost. How can I forget Ghost? Everybody forgets Ghost. Ghost is one of those very underrated things. I think Ghost is just way left out in the cold. In the future, if I picked up another recessive this year, it would probably be Desert Ghost. I really like those. I think they're pretty good. Those and Mahoganies are probably the things I'll be digging into this year. So getting to DHI. Dude, we're already into GHI. I mean, we've got GHI cooking. I got probably 3 GHI clutches coming this year. So, all right, guys. That's all I've got today. Thank you so much. When is Kurt going to live chat about rat breeding? Ooh, I don't know, man. He might one of these days. Maybe I can talk him into it. You know, tips for new breeder. What do you want to know? I mean, just do what you're passionate about. And ask. But don't ask on Facebook. It's full of assholes. Come to our, you know what? Come to our Patreon. That'd be my tip. You get my ear anytime you need it, pretty much. So, yeah, we're actually looking at doing our version of a tub versus tank. It's going to be different than anybody else's version. So, I don't know, maybe. I don't watch other people's versions. If I want to do something and I see somebody else has done it, I don't watch their video because I don't want their video. I don't want to, like, have their video influence me and either being the same or being different. So, there's that. All right, guys. I got to dip out because I actually got to work tomorrow, so this guy's going to get a little sleepy time. But I wanted to drop in and just say hello and talk about that. And you're going to see some more live videos of just me working. Sometimes I'm doing some work. I'm just going to pop in live when I'm like picking up shit or whatever and spend a few minutes talking to you guys. So thanks. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because apparently it's been turning off for people. So go for it. All right, guys, we will see you all later.